This dog knew when death was coming to town. Every single time, without fail. When Rex saw those three strangers, he did something he'd never done before. The train whistle echoed across Bitter Creek. Sheriff Tom stood on the platform. His hand rested on his holster. Behind him, the townspeople whispered nervously. They all watched the black and tan dog. Rex sat perfectly still on the wooden planks. His ears were flat against his head. His brown eyes stared at the approaching locomotive. Tom had seen this before. 3 times in 2 years. Each time Rex acted this way, someone died. Not from sickness or old age, always violence, always murder. The German Shepherd's gift terrified everyone. "He's doing it again," Martha whispered. She clutched her shawl tighter. "That devil dog knows something." Rex had arrived in Bitter Creek 2 years ago, half dead from starvation. Tom had nursed him back to health. The dog proved loyal and intelligent. But then came the first incident. Rex had howled for 3 straight nights. On the 4th day, they found the banker shot dead. The second time happened 6 months later. Rex refused to leave the saloon's front door. He growled at everyone who tried to enter. That night, a drifter stabbed a card player inside. The third incident involved the minister's wife. Rex followed her everywhere for a week. She died from poisoned tea meant for her husband. Now the train was pulling in. Steam hissed from the engine. Passengers began stepping off. Rex's growl started low and deep. Tom felt the hair on his neck rise. 3 strangers descended from the train. Well-dressed men with expensive suits. They carried leather cases and wore gold watches. The tallest one had cold blue eyes. He surveyed the town like a hawk. The second man was stocky with scarred hands. The third stayed back, younger, nervous. Rex stood up slowly. His muscles tensed beneath his coat. He took 3 steps toward the strangers. Then he sat down again. His tail didn't move. His eyes never left them. The growling stopped, but something worse replaced it. Complete silence. Even the wind seemed to pause. "Gentlemen," Tom called out, "welcome to Bitter Creek." The tall man smiled. It didn't reach his eyes. "Sheriff, we're here on business, looking for lodging. The Frontier Inn is that way." Tom pointed down Main Street. "Martha runs it clean and fair." The men tipped their hats and walked past. Rex turned his head to follow them. When they passed, he looked back at Tom. The message in those brown eyes was clear. Death had just arrived in Bitter Creek. Tom knelt beside Rex. "Who is it, boy? Which one?" But the dog just stared after the strangers. His breathing was shallow and quick. That evening, Tom made his rounds. The 3 men had taken rooms at the inn. They ate dinner at the saloon, asked questions about the local bank, about the mine payroll schedules, about who kept valuables where. Professional questions disguised as friendly conversation. Rex wouldn't eat his dinner. He lay on the sheriff's office floor. His eyes stayed fixed on the door. Every few minutes, he'd lift his head. His ears would swivel, tracking sounds outside. Tom cleaned his rifle and checked his ammunition. Whatever was coming, he'd be ready. Around midnight, Rex suddenly stood. He walked to the window and put his paws up. Outside, the three strangers walked down the empty street. They moved with purpose now, no casual stroll. They headed toward the residential area, toward the wealthy part of town. "Come on, boy." Tom grabbed his gun belt. They slipped out the back door. The night was moonless and cold. Rex led the way, staying in shadows. His paws made no sound on the dirt. Tom followed, trusting the dog's instincts. They moved through alleys and behind buildings, always keeping the strangers in sight. The men stopped at the Jameson house. Old Harold Jameson owned the biggest cattle ranch for miles. His safe supposedly held $20,000. The strangers circled the house like wolves, checking windows, testing doors. The tall one pulled something from his pocket. Lockpicks glinted in the starlight. Rex tensed beside Tom, but the dog didn't move to attack. He waited. Tom understood. If they acted now, it would be their word against the strangers. Better to catch them inside. Better to have proof. The lock clicked open. The three men slipped inside. Tom counted to 30. Then he and Rex approached the house. Inside, Tom heard muffled voices upstairs. A woman's frightened cry. Harold's angry shout. Then a sound that chilled Tom's blood. The click of a hammer being pulled back. Rex burst through the door before Tom could stop him. The dog flew up the stairs. His paws thundered on the wood. Tom ran after him, gun drawn. They reached the bedroom door just as a shot rang out. The scene inside was chaos. Harold lay on the floor, bleeding from his shoulder. His wife pressed against the wall, screaming. The tall stranger held a smoking gun. The stocky one had a knife. The young one was rifling through drawers. Rex didn't hesitate. He launched himself at the tall man, teeth bared but not connecting. The man stumbled backward. His gun flew from his hand. Tom rushed in, covering the other two. "Nobody move!" Tom shouted. "Hands where I can see them!" The stocky man lunged with his knife. Rex intercepted him. The dog's jaws clamped on the man's wrist, not breaking skin, but holding firm. The knife clattered to the floor. The young one tried to run. Tom caught him with the butt of his rifle. Within minutes, all three were disarmed and restrained. Harold's wound was serious but not fatal. His wife ran for the doctor. Rex sat guard over the criminals, his eyes never leaving them. But something was wrong. Rex still seemed agitated. His fur stood on end. He kept looking around the room, then at Tom, then back at the criminals. The death sense hadn't faded. "There's more," Tom said aloud. "Isn't there, boy?" The tall stranger laughed. Blood ran from where he'd hit the wall. "Smart dog you got there, Sheriff." "What do you mean?" "We're not the ones you should worry about." The man's smile was cruel. "We're just the distraction." Tom's blood ran cold. Distraction for what? "The real score ain't here. It's at your bank. Right about now, I'd say." The stranger checked his pocket watch. "Our associates should be blowing the safe." Tom heard it then, a distant explosion from the direction of Main Street. Rex was already at the door. The dog looked back once. Tom had to choose. Guard these three or save the bank. "Go!" Harold gasped from the floor. "I've got a gun. Go!" Tom ran after Rex. They sprinted through the night. The dog's prediction was coming true. Death was here. But for whom? The night was far from over. Behind them, Harold struggled to his feet. He picked up the tall stranger's gun. His face was pale but determined. Rex led Tom through shortcuts, over fences, through yards. They could see flames now. The bank's front windows were blown out. Smoke poured into the street. Townspeople emerged from their homes. Some formed a bucket brigade. Others just stared in shock. 3 figures ran from the burning bank. They carried heavy bags, wore masks over their faces. Rex accelerated, pulling ahead of Tom. The dog intercepted them at the corner. He stood in their path, teeth bared, hackles raised, a creature from their nightmares. The robbers skidded to a stop. One raised a pistol. Tom fired first. The gun flew from the man's hand. "Drop the bags, now!" They hesitated. Rex took a step forward. That decided it. The bags hit the ground. But one robber pulled a second gun, hidden in his boot. He aimed at Tom. Rex saw it first. The dog leaped, not at the man, but at Tom, pushing him aside. The bullet meant for Tom's heart caught Rex in the shoulder. The dog yelped and fell. Tom's vision went red. He fired 3 shots. All 3 robbers dropped their weapons. They fell to their knees, hands up. Tom rushed to Rex. Blood soaked the dog's coat. But Rex's eyes were still alert, still watching, still warning. Because the death sense hadn't left. If anything, it was stronger. "Who else?" Tom demanded of the robbers. "How many more of you?" One robber laughed behind his mask. "Check your jail, Sheriff." Tom's heart sank. The 3 from the Jameson house? He'd left them with wounded Harold. Rex tried to stand, failed, tried again. The dog was going back, injured or not. Deputy Ben came running. "Tom, we've got the fire controlled." "Watch these 3, Tom ordered. "Don't let them move." Tom scooped up Rex. The dog weighed nearly 80 pounds, but adrenaline gave Tom strength. He ran back toward the Jameson house. Rex's blood soaked his shirt. The dog's breathing was labored, but those brown eyes stayed open, still alert, still warning. They were 2 blocks away when they heard the shots, 3 of them, spaced apart, deliberate. Tom's legs pumped harder. Rex whined in his arms. They rounded the corner to see the Jameson house. The front door stood open. Light spilled onto the porch. Tom set Rex down gently, drew his gun, entered carefully. The house was quiet, too quiet. He climbed the stairs. Each step creaked under his weight. The bedroom door was ajar. Tom pushed it open with his boot. The 3 criminals lay dead on the floor, each shot once in the head. Harold sat in a chair, the smoking gun in his lap. His shoulder wound had bled through the bandages. His face was ghost white, but his eyes were steady. "They tried to escape," Harold said simply, "soon as you left." Tom looked at the bodies. They were still tied up. Their bonds hadn't been touched. This wasn't self-defense. This was execution. Harold had delivered his own justice. Tom should arrest him, should uphold the law. But looking at the old rancher, he couldn't. Rex limped into the room. The dog sniffed each body. Then he lay down. The tension finally left his body. The death sense was satisfied. It had known all along. Not just that death would come, but who would die, and who would do the killing. Dawn broke over Bitter Creek, with Rex fighting for his life. Doc Henderson worked through the night. The bullet had torn through muscle and grazed bone. The German shepherd lay on the surgery table. His breathing was shallow. His usually alert eyes were glazed with pain. Tom hadn't left Rex's side. He held the dog's paw, whispered encouragement. Remembered finding Rex 2 years ago. Half dead then, too. But he'd survive that. He'd survive this. The next few hours are critical, Doc Henderson said. He wiped blood from his hands. If infection sets in, he'll make it, Tom said firmly. He has to. Word spread through town about Rex's sacrifice, about his strange gift, how he'd known death was coming, how he'd saved Tom's life. People gathered outside the doc's office. They brought blankets, food for Tom, even prayers for the dog many had feared. Martha arrived with hot soup. The whole town's talking, she said, about what Harold did. Tom nodded slowly. The 3 bodies were in the undertaker's shop. The official report would say they died trying to escape. Everyone knew the truth. Nobody would speak it aloud. Harold Jameson had lost too much blood. He died an hour after Tom found him. Another death Rex had sensed. By noon, Rex's breathing steadied. His eyes focused on Tom. The dog tried to lift his head, failed, but his tail gave a weak thump. Doc Henderson checked the wound. No sign of infection yet. The crisis wasn't over, but there was hope. "You saved my life, boy," Tom whispered. "Now, fight to save yours." Outside, Deputy Ben questioned the captured bank robbers. They'd confessed to everything. Part of a larger gang. 8 men total. They'd planned this for months, studied the town, learned routines. The perfect crime, except for one thing. They hadn't counted on Rex. "That devil dog ruined everything," one robber spat. "How'd he know?" Ben had no answer. Nobody did. Rex's gift remained a mystery. Some called it supernatural. Others said coincidence. Tom didn't care what it was. It had saved lives. That was enough. Evening fell with Rex showing improvement. He drank water, ate a little food. His eyes tracked movement around the room. The wound was clean, no infection. Doc Henderson finally smiled. "I think he'll pull through," the doc said. "Tough as leather, this one." That night, Tom dozed in his chair beside Rex. He dreamed of death, of Harold Jameson's cold eyes, of the choices men make. He woke to find Rex watching him. The dog's eyes were clear now, alert, but something in them had changed. "You knew, didn't you?" Tom asked. "You knew Harold would kill them." Rex just stared. His brown eyes held secrets, knowledge no dog should possess. Tom wondered about the gift. Was it really supernatural? Or did Rex just read people better than anyone realized? The next morning brought unexpected visitors. Federal marshals rode into town. They'd been tracking the gang for months. Bank robberies across 3 states. The leader was still out there, a man named Black Jack Morrison. Dangerous, ruthless, worth $5,000 dead or alive. "Your dog did what we couldn't," Marshal Cole said. "Stopped them cold." "Rex paid a price for it," Tom replied. The marshal studied the recovering dog. "I've heard stories about his ability." "Stories?" Tom said carefully. "Maybe, maybe not." The marshal left a wanted poster. "Black Jack won't let this go. He'll come for revenge." Rex recovered slowly over the next week. First standing, then walking. Finally, short patrols with Tom. The shoulder wound left him with a slight limp, but his spirit remained strong. His senses stayed sharp. The town treated Rex differently now. No more fear, only respect. Children brought him treats. Adults nodded when he passed. He'd earned his place as hero. But Rex seemed uncomfortable with the attention. He stayed close to Tom, watched shadows more carefully. 2 weeks passed peacefully. The bank was repaired. Harold Jameson was buried. His wife left town to live with family. The captured robbers awaited trial. Life in Bitter Creek returned to normal. Almost. Rex started acting strange again. Not like before. Different. He'd stare at the horizon for hours, pace the office at night, follow Tom everywhere. Protective. Anxious. Like he was waiting for something. The answer came on a moonless night. Rex woke Tom with urgent barking. The dog stood at the window. His injured shoulder trembled with tension. Outside, Tom saw nothing, but Rex saw something, or sensed it. "What is it, boy?" Rex ran to the door, scratched at it, looked back at Tom. The message was clear. They needed to move, now. Tom grabbed his gun belt and followed. Rex led him through dark streets, toward the edge of town, toward the cemetery. They found fresh horse tracks, 3 riders, recent, heading into town from the north. Rex sniffed the ground. His hackles rose. He looked at Tom with those knowing eyes. The same look as before. Death was coming again. Tom understood. Black Jack Morrison. Come for revenge. For his captured men. For the stolen money. For blood. Rex had sensed him coming. The gift had returned. Or maybe it never left. They tracked the horses to an abandoned warehouse. Rex moved silently despite his injury. Tom followed his lead. Through a broken window, they saw them. 3 men, armed, planning. Black Jack stood over a map of the town. He was huge, 6.5 feet, scarred face, dead eyes. The others looked equally dangerous. They were marking locations: the jail, the sheriff's office, Tom's house. "We hit all 3 at once," Black Jack growled. "Free the boys, kill the sheriff, burn it all." Rex looked at Tom. The dog couldn't fight, not with his injury, but his eyes said he would, to the death if needed. Tom made a decision. They needed help, needed to warn the town, but if they left, they'd lose track of Black Jack. Rex made the choice for him. The dog limped back toward town, fast as his injury allowed. Tom understood. Rex would get help. Tom would keep watch. They separated in the darkness. Tom's heart pounded as Rex disappeared. The dog was heading straight for Deputy Ben's house. 20 minutes passed. Tom watched Black Jack's gang load weapons, check ammunition, prepare for war. Then he heard it. Rex's distinctive bark. But not from town. From behind the warehouse. The clever dog had circled back. And he wasn't alone. Deputy Ben appeared with 10 armed townsmen. They'd surrounded the warehouse. Black Jack's revenge plan was over before it began. But the outlaws wouldn't surrender easy. Tom knew blood would flow tonight. The question was, whose? "Come out with your hands up!" Tom shouted through the darkness. "You're surrounded!" Black Jack's laugh was cold as winter wind. "Sheriff, shoulda known that devil dog would spoil things." Inside the warehouse, the outlaws took positions. Black Jack kicked over a lantern. Fire spread across the old wood. Smoke billowed out through broken windows. They'd rather burn than surrender. Tom's jaw clenched. This would end badly. Rex stood beside Deputy Ben. The dog's injured shoulder trembled, but his eyes never left the burning building. He barked once, sharp, warning. Then Tom saw it. Black Jack climbing out the back window, using the fire as cover. "Ben, take the others, watch the front!" Tom ran after Black Jack. Rex followed despite his injury. The dog's limp was pronounced, but his determination was stronger. They chased Black Jack through the darkness. The outlaw was fast, but he didn't know the town. Tom did. Rex did better. Black Jack turned into a dead-end alley, realized his mistake too late, spun around with gun drawn. Tom and Rex faced him. The burning warehouse lit the sky behind them. Smoke drifted between them like fog. "Your dog's already hurt," Black Jack sneered. "I'll finish what my boys started." Rex growled low and deep. The sound came from his chest, primal, ancient. The fur along his spine stood straight up. His brown eyes glowed in the firelight. Despite the injury, he looked ready to fight. "It's over, Morrison," Tom said. "Your gang's finished." "Not while I'm breathing." Black Jack fired. Tom dove left. Rex went right. The bullet sparked off brick. Tom fired back, missed. Black Jack laughed and aimed again, this time at Rex. The dog couldn't dodge fast enough, not with his injury. Rex didn't try to dodge. Instead, he charged, straight at Black Jack. The outlaw's eyes widened. He fired. The bullet grazed Rex's side. New blood joined old, but the dog didn't stop. 80 pounds of fury and loyalty crashed into Black Jack. They went down hard. Black Jack's gun flew away. Rex's teeth found the outlaw's wrist, not biting through, just holding. Black Jack screamed, tried to throw Rex off, but the dog held firm. Even wounded, Rex was stronger. Tom kicked Black Jack's gun away, pressed his rifle to the outlaw's head. "It's over." Black Jack's free hand pulled a knife, hidden in his boot. Rex saw it, released the wrist, caught the knife hand instead. This time, his teeth drew blood. The knife dropped. Black Jack finally stopped fighting. Deputy Ben arrived with the townsmen. The other two outlaws were captured. The warehouse fire was contained. Nobody had died. Except Rex was bleeding again. Both wounds now. Doc Henderson came running with his medical bag. "Fool dog," the doc muttered, trying to be a hero again. They carried Rex back to the office, laid him on Tom's desk. The doc worked quickly. The new wound wasn't deep, but combined with the old injury, Rex had lost too much blood. His breathing was shallow. His eyes kept closing. "Stay with me, boy," Tom whispered. "You've come too far to quit now." Rex's tail thumped once, weak but present. The whole town gathered outside. They'd seen everything. Rex's courage, his loyalty, his strange gift that had saved them all. Twice now. Dawn came with Rex still fighting. Black Jack Morrison sat in jail with his gang. The federal marshals were coming. The threat was over. Bitter Creek was safe. All thanks to a dog who knew when death was near. Doc Henderson finally smiled. "He's stable. Both wounds are clean. He just needs rest." Tom hadn't left Rex's side all night. Now exhaustion hit him. He slumped in his chair. Rex opened one eye, looked at Tom. His tail thumped again, stronger this time. The dog would recover. Tom knew it. Rex was too stubborn to die. "You know something?" Tom said to the dog. "Your gift saved us, but it wasn't supernatural." Rex tilted his head, listening. "You read people better than any human. You smell their fear, their intent, their violence. You knew those men meant death because death was already in them." 6 months later, Rex patrolled Main Street beside Tom. His limp was barely noticeable, the scars hidden under thick fur. Children ran up to pet him. He tolerated their attention with dignity. The hero of Bitter Creek, the dog who knew when death came calling. But Rex's gift had changed. Or maybe Tom understood it better. The dog still sensed danger, still protected the town. But now people understood. It wasn't magic. It wasn't supernatural. It was love, loyalty, the bond between a dog and his people. That evening, Tom and Rex stood at Harold Jameson's grave. The old rancher had made a dark choice, but he died protecting what he loved. Rex seemed to understand. The dog sat quietly, respectfully. Death wasn't always evil. Sometimes it was necessary. Sometimes it was justice. A train whistle echoed across the valley. Rex's ears perked up, but he didn't tense, didn't growl. Whatever passengers arrived tonight, they brought no danger. The dog could tell the difference now. Or maybe he always could. Tom scratched behind Rex's ears. "Good boy, let's go home." They walked back through town, sheriff and dog, guardian and partner. Rex no longer predicted death. He prevented it. And that made all the difference. The end.